Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of KOTS Tips and Tricks. I'm Fernando, forward deployed engineer at Replicated, and in this video I want to talk to you about Replicated's own registry. So one of the great things that KOTS offers is the ability to manage a container or an image tag based on where it's being deployed. Whether it's an air-gapped environment, an online environment, existing cluster, whether the containers are in a public registry or private registry, KOTS does a great job of managing those tags. In order to leverage that, however, Replicated or KOTS needs access to those images. So most of our vendors will have their registries in something like ECR or GCR where they're able to connect to Replicated. But in those instances where maybe you have something that's only on-premise, like Nexus or Artifactory, you may want to be able to push them somewhere else to use with Replicated. So that is where our registry comes in. So in this video, we'll walk through steps on how to use our Replicated with KOTS applications. Let's get started. So to connect to the registry, what we're going to do today is we're going to take the public Nginx container and push it to the Replicated registry. After that, we'll go into our deployment files and update the YAML where we're referencing the registry in the tag. Then we'll update an application that we already have up and running with these changes. If you want to follow along, then you probably should have watched the previous videos where we show you how to create the release and create it in Vendor Web, and also how to deploy it into a VM. Okay, so now to get started, we need to start at the vendor portal. So under the vendor portal, just to review, we have some releases we have already created. The last one that I have created is pointing to pull the Nginx container from an online registry, in this case, Amazon's Elastic Container Registry, ECR. But now I want to change that. So I'm going to go to Images and use this image tag that's provided to me under Replicated Private Registry. And that is what I'm now going to use to tag the Nginx container and then push it to the Replicated registry. So on my terminal here, I'm going to do a Docker pull just to pull the public Nginx container. Then I'm going to tag the container with what I got from the vendor portal just now. And then let's get a new terminal here. So let's type clear. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to do a Docker login into the registry for Replicated. You would use the same credentials you use to log into the vendor portal. And now that I'm logged in, I'm going to now push it into the into the Replicated registry. Okay, so once this is about to wrap up, once this is finished, then the next thing we'll have to do is to go to our development environments. And if you followed our other videos, you know that I use Visual Studio Code, but you can use whichever editor you would like. But here I'm going to simply replace the image tag with a one from Replicated's registry. So that's all I need to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and save my changes. And then I'm going to use the Replicated CLI to create my next release and push it to the same channel so I can update my installed application. So to do that, I'll go back to my terminal here, just checking that I'm in the right directory. I see the manifests directory where all the YAMLs are. Next, I'm going to check that all my environment variables are set up. And again, we've covered that in a previous video and it's in our documentation as well. But now that everything is set up, I'm just going to type in my Replicated release create command, which I use all the time. And this will now read the manifest and create our sequence number 5, which is now in the vendor portal as well. If I check the YAML, we can see that the deployment file now is pointing to Replicated's registry. So that's really it. All we need to do on this side. Now we just need to update our application. So I'm going to switch over to a running instance of this sample application that I have. I've been making several changes, as you can tell, but I'm just going to go to the version history here and click on check for updates. So this will simply go and fetch whatever updates I've been playing around. It's several, I'm going to warn you. So this may take a little bit. You may see several rows here. It's still checking through that. So I told you, there's several updates that I've been playing around. But the beauty here is that you can choose which version to take. In this case, I'm going to take the latest one because this is the one that has the change I want. So I clicked on the differences to see what's the difference, and as you can see is the image tag. One is on the green is the new value, and the red is the old value. So on the green, on the new one, you can tell that it's using the registry replicated.com my namespace and then my container, right? But on the red side, the old one, it used our proxy, which always it's put in front of the ECR address. Either way, we always handle the pool secrets for you. So this is still running the pre-flight checks, but we'll go ahead and deploy this. And now our application is getting there. There we go. So now I'm going to SSH into this VM where I have this running, and I'm going to look at the pods. So here we can see that, let me change the size, there we go. You can see that the example Nginx has only been running for 45 seconds versus the other ones that have been running for some days. So now if I want to ensure that this is the one that came from the right registry, right? I'm going to just describe the pod then. And I'm going to do kubectl describe pod. And for the pod name, we'll just simply copy and paste from right here. Just paste it. And as you'll see under the events, pulling image registry replicated.com. So we now know that it did pull from the replicated registry. Great. So to summarize, in this video, what we did is we took the public Nginx container and pushed it to the replicated registry. We also updated our image tags. And we also updated our running application with this new change. And we verified the change by describing the deployed pod and verified that in fact came from the right place.